We're doing an introducing.
Yeah, I'll do an introducing. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much. I did get a haircut. It looks great. I usually don't spend money on haircuts, which you might have been able to tell the last 50-odd episodes. We're at episode 50 as well, everybody.
50,
so half a century.
How good.
Great knock, excluding, I think, when we did the introduction one, because I did that as episode 000. Okay. So we might have already done the 50th episode.
That's okay.
Oops, my bad.
Oopsies.
Welcome to episode 50.
Welcome, everyone.
We're also, do you know our podcast anniversary? This is in the timeline of when we recorded things.
Yeah.
It's next week.
Whoa.
The 31st of August was our first episode.
Really?
So we've done it for a year now.
Oh,
and now
wow.
we've got the ability to tell you that the show is finishing. We did it for a year. We had a good run. That's it. What we've got this week, we've got something very special. Before I ask you how you are, is we've got a bunch of questions that we've been collecting, collating, sorting. It's not really that much of a sorting effort. I just kind of put them in a file. But
chronological.
We're just going to, rather than us talking about us, we're going to talk about you for a change. We've got questions that have come in about a wide variety of things. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to run through them.
Sounds good.
It might be one episode, it might be two episodes. It's probably going to be one episode. I didn't really collate that many. But we'll see how we go. So, Mikaela, how are you this week?
Yeah, I'm really good.
That's what, look at that. We're nearly 50 for 50 on the good weeks.
50 for 50. No, feeling good, feeling fresh. New week.
That's what we want to hear.
It's a Sunday today.
It is a Sunday. It's a Sunday morning, Maroon 5 vibes. Oh. Isn't it good?
Good song. Banger.
It really is. Something for Jane. Look at the album.
Songs for Jane?
Is it Songs for Jane?
Or songs about Jane?
Songs about Jane.
That's ringing a bell.
You know what? I'm not even going to check. Adam Levine and the Gang, I'm So Sorry.
Yeah.
I
Songs about Jane. I'm pretty sure.
That sounds about right. It's the red album with the lady with the long hair and stuff.
Yeah.
So good. So good. I'm doing pretty well.
How are you going, Lockie?
Everybody, I'm doing really well. When this comes out, I'll actually be at my new job with Mikaela.
Yes.
But as of right now, I am unemployed.
Unemployed. 1 week.
I think I
between jobs doesn't
hiatus.
count.
No, I updated my LinkedIn the other day, and I nearly wanted to put what are some of the weird things people put on LinkedIn? It's a dreamer open to conversation or something like that.
Oh, I don't have LinkedIn.
We got to get you set up. I set up the page for the bloody podcast the other day. So if you're on LinkedIn and you want to have a look, bloody grab the traces on LinkedIn.
Is LinkedIn necessary? I thought it was the professional Facebook.
It is the professional Facebook, but probably maybe more in the role that I'm moving into now. It's more important because it's not so much like me just being a one-man island. It's very good for that kind of networky kind of knowing who's who in the world.
Isn't it you click their page and then they know?
They do get notified. It's one of the best things.
Does everyone get notified?
I think.
Or do you have to have a premium account?
Well, that's it. It sounds like Tinder now where when you don't pay, it just says 15 people have viewed your profile. But if you pay, it's Lachlan viewed your profile.
That's just a bit creepy.
It's a little bit creepy, but think of it this way. If you're hunting for jobs or you're working somewhere and then you've paid for this thing and then it's XYZ firm viewed your profile. It's oh my goodness, am I getting headhunted? The vibe, the dream almost. Everyone wants to be wanted.
Sure. It's not for me.
It's not for you.
It's not for me.
Well, you know what?
Just contact me. You want to hear from me, just contact me.
Just hit me up through the emails.
Yeah. Can you get a hold of me? No. Do you know my email? No.
Just buzz me on Facebook. It's private, but you won't be able to get through it.
Literally.
It's friends of friends only.
Everything's private on me. I don't want to talk to anyone.
No, really. We're all about kind of narrowing and reducing the circle rather than expanding it at this point.
Quality, not quantity.
Think of us, and this is going to maybe in terms of phases I went through in my life, I went through a big space phase.
Oh.
We're a star just before it's about to die. We're kind of compacting in on ourselves.
Star we've had our about to die.
We've had all our time when we're young at school, expanding. And it's the star's ready to die now. Oh, I'm only 2 or 3 years younger.
You're not even in your 30s yet.
Not yet. It's coming down though. I've only got 5 months now.
It's a heavy, heavy burden to bear.
I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do for my 30th because they don't release when the F1 comes to Australia. They don't say when that is. So I might have to get it back up.
Is that your plan?
Well, that was the plan, was to go down to Melbourne for it, but
I hope I'm getting an invite to this, aren't we?
Oh, 100%. We're going to go. We'll make a big weekend of it.
Yeah.
We'll do a long weekend.
Oh my God, Melbourne trip. it always feels good for a birthday or an event to if you go somewhere for it.
That's it. I want to do that. I want to go to because down in Melbourne, that's where usually like when you've got the bit, oh God, this is going to be so much of an indulgence. Where you've got like musicals and stuff coming, like usually they land in Melbourne first for the first run or they go to Sydney.
Wait, have you seen Cursed Child, Harry Potter?
I haven't. I don't even know what it's about. Actually, you know what? I was doing a quiz the other day and it mentioned, there was a question, it was like, who's the Minister for Magic? And I was like, it's got to be one
era?
Cursed Child era. And I was like, it's got to be one of the gang, surely.
Hermione.
My goodness, there's a free tip. If you're doing the Saturday quiz, there's a free answer for you. It's in the ministries section.
Obviously, Hermione.
Yeah. I did see that Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat is coming to Melbourne next year during my birthday month.
You did.
So I might actually get like a little invite
Bit of a double
on stage
banger, really.
and I could be one of the sons again.
Oh, God.
Reprise my role.
Oh, my God.
Listen,
that's what LinkedIn's for.
It really is. I should start connecting with the theatre group.
The theatre.
I'll wear my
Talk to Laura.
I'll wear my Laura. I'll wear my drama blacks and I'll
drama
just like
blacks.
give me a hand for a second. I'll start doing the theatre kid, like the handholds. Like, we're gonna make it. We're gonna be so good. You are unreal out there tonight. Listen, let's throw our way up into the introduction as I find the button. Welcome to Grab the Trace, a home design podcast here to help you deliver your next project to its full potential. If you're looking for some tips and secrets whilst building a new home, renovating, or even just picking some window furnishings, stick around, pull up your plans, and let's grab the trace.
Wow.
Wow. So everybody, as we said, we've got some questions.
We do.
So I think the easiest way to do this is
And you're blinding me with these questions. I haven't seen them.
Yeah, these are all blind. I mean, I thought you were about to be like, the quality of them is blinding. They're unreal, but let's kick it off. So I'll flash a photo up on the page or the page. The video? Is that what we're doing?
Right.
I'll put a photo up. But we're going to try and do this audio style for all our Spotify podcast guys. So there's an image. I'm going to frame it. Let me see about here. Just practice how good I'm getting at editing. Okay, we'll use your hands as well, I guess. So
what are you pointing towards?
I'm making like a rectangle, like with my hands. So then the image like falls here. Thank you so much for everyone. Audio becoming really difficult to listen to. Right?
So okay.
This is an image of, for everyone playing at home, some window frames that have been left out in the elements on a building site. And so the question says, in all honesty, would you guys pay for these windows and frames? Any idea or advice on what to do? What have they said? I've stated I don't want to wear the cost of these due to the condition and wanted new ones, but got my head chewed off by my site supervisor. So we're talking about aluminium window frames and door frames for a new build. Mm-hmm. I think the glazing's actually in there as well. So the glass is ready to go, ready, all primed. So
it's the frames with the glazing.
Yeah. So I guess
they're just piled up on site.
To be honest with you, I think this is pretty poor form.
Beyond poor form.
Especially with the fact that they're laid flat. Like, yes, it's easier to stack them, but this is maybe a larger symptom of what's going on in the building industry in terms of lead times and everything. Usually these windows and door frames won't be delivered to a site until the roof is on or the frame's up so they can lean them against, put them in the garage or somewhere where it's almost lock-up worthy.
Yeah.
The reason they would have delivered them to site from a little bit of an architectural insight is as soon as they are on site, they don't have to be fixed. As soon as they're on site, they can claim for them.
Oof.
So they can charge you for it because in your contract, have a check, I'm not a lawyer, usually it's when the items are on site, that's when they're allowed to charge you for them in the progress payments. They don't have to be installed and fitted off.
Yeah.
But that's usually it. So I understand why the builders have kind of rushed to get them out there, but storing them like that? Yeah, and it's maybe not so much an issue with aluminium window frames, but imagine if they were timber frames and they're out in the weather and they're swelling or they're exposed to the elements.
Honestly, even aluminium, like stacked like that, it's just like rain shit, just debris from the site. Like they could so easily get scratched and
or broken,
like rocks and
just someone throwing a rock over it or just even if it hailed. Like imagine
and
that.
Like look, you can see them. Like there's one photo where the
it's
windows
like
are just like
in the water here.
Yeah,
it's poor form. It's something that I understand why someone probably got a little bit defensive about it because it's almost like being caught out when you're being naughty as a kid.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I didn't do that.
Well, I can see it like a builder be like, the aluminium, they're not timber, they're not going to swell, they're fine. Like obviously windows and doors, when they're installed, they're outside, they're open to the elements. That's the whole point. But
what if your frames get scratched?
Yeah.
Are they coming to touch that up? Probably not. They're probably, that's just a minor defect. That doesn't count. Right. It's bad form.
It is.
It's poor form. So
poor form.
We should almost.
Well, the question, is this okay?
Not for me. Not for me.
I wouldn't say that's acceptable.
Even as a, like maybe, they're trying to, I guess, bite your head off in a way to try and stop this being
deter.
An issue. Yeah, 100% to be.
It's like if I arc up enough, they'll be like, okay, this must be normal.
They're like, oh, okay, I'm sorry I asked, or whatever, you're doing a great job. Please deliver my house on time.
Sorry.
It's the biggest investment in your life. You've got to be happy with it, and that's pretty poor form. You know what I think we should do? In the future, I might try and grab some more questions from our audience, and we can almost be like a little mini trial thing where we can be like guilty. Is this a builder behaving badly, or is this just
we're not out here. We're not out here to rip every builder. But like
you could do it like
they're doing it tough.
Who's the unreasonable party? Maybe in like a lighthearted way. We're like, who? Like, am I
guilty? Okay, Judge Judy.
Am I overreact? Oh my goodness, Judith Shineland, she's unreal. You're so ruined. I've seen People Squad. I've seen Judge Judy. I've seen.
Of course you have.
There's so many of those shows, and I love all of them. My goodness, People Court's good.
Okay.
She's unreal.
Okay. Second question.
Second question. So this one is maybe a little more in Mikaela's wheelhouse. So we're struggling to decide on what size to go with the rug that we're looking at. It comes in a 2x3 meter or a 2x4 meter.
2x4.
I'll throw the image up on the screen.
That was easy.
Easy. Maybe we can explain why it's easy.
Oh, okay.
I've mapped it out with the rug being in red, our TV unit being in white, and our couches grey in our space to play around with. Just to pause for a second, props to you for drawing in furniture, something most people don't do. Well done. Don't.
To scale, I would like to know.
Our couches are all reclining, so they need a bit of space between them. Good thought on that as well. Which would you go with? How do you decide how much of your rug to tuck under couch edges, etc.? Is there a secret to it? And I'll just bring the actual image up for Mikaela to have a look. So what we're talking about is pretty much either the 2x3 rug where then the couches are kind of all set off the perimeter of that. So the rug's just kind of like filling a space in the center of the room, where it looks like the 2x4 rug is actually kind of extending underneath the couches a little bit as well.
Well, see, I would argue here and say neither of those.
Go bigger.
I would go
both.
3x4.
3x4.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's more the width, like that 2 meters just isn't big enough.
Yep. I was telling Mikaela earlier, I found this like little graph I'll put up on the screen now, which is like kind of
that's perfect.
A really quick do and don't.
Yeah. It's either an area rug, so all furniture fits within the circumference of the rug. Or the perimeter of the rug, sorry. So that's your first, like, you've got the perfect image of it as the do. So you've got a nice border around every single edge of your furniture piece. Or the other section where it's equal distance underneath every piece of furniture. So within 30 centimeters within.
Yeah. And imagine
40, 50,
it could be living room, could be a bed. Even like we want it to kind of extend out. I think that's where most people get into trouble when they have like timber floors in a bedroom and then they try and put a rug under there is you go in your 2x3 rug. So you get a meter at the foot, but then there's nothing spilling out on the sides.
And honestly, this little diagram you're putting up on the screen now is absolutely perfect in the sense of the distance that it's underneath the two armchairs is the same distance that it is underneath the lounge, and it's the same circumference all the way around.
Stunning.
Beautiful.
It's stunning.
And if in doubt, always go bigger.
Oh, 100%.
Like, always.
Yeah. I think it's something that having a larger rug is like a little bit like Lush as well.
Oh, there's a reason why it's expensive.
There's a reason. Alrighty, next question.
Okay.
Hey gang, has anyone had their build come to the end and the builder's asked when I loved this question because I maybe have a little more insight than you do on this.
Okay.
So this is for a project home, just for everyone to be filled in. So, hey gang, has anyone had their build come towards the end and the builder asked when you're going to have the appliances delivered? I was puzzled and said, why would I have them delivered? You supply them. For him to reply, they aren't in the contract. They are not mentioned in the exclusions in the contract, and in the quote it says kitchen appliances installed. Are we responsible?
Oh, this project home.
So,
question.
What they do is they include
the installation, but not the supply.
But not the supply, unless, like when Caitlin and I built our home, we had an upgrade package where the appliances were included.
Okay. So you have to be very specific with your contract at the beginning, at the start date. Make sure everyone's on the same page and aware, because it's those little terms and conditions no one reads.
Well, the one thing I will raise here that's poor by the builder is how's the joinery been made? If there's been no specification for the appliances
how do they know
given,
what size?
So then to flip it back, what I think might have happened, and feel free to email in to confirm this, I would hazard during your selections meeting, you chose appliances under the assumption that they would then provide those appliances, where all they've done is they've passed those selections onto the joiners.
Oh, yeah.
Who then go and customise all the cabinetry and all that kind of stuff and design the kitchen around it.
Okay.
So I think it's a little bit of poor communication from them in terms of clarifying
though, but it sounds
100%. But it's
everything's extra.
And that's it. Like, because you go through and you're like, oh my goodness, look at this quote. It's so cheap. But then there's the hidden cost of being
cheap. Half the kitchen's missing.
15 grand of appliances that aren't included. And so you're like, well, gee, I would have gone with another builder because the appliances were included and it was only 10 grand more.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit, you get what you pay for, but at the same time, kind of really reading in between the lines with some of these contract terms. Generally, it's if you were kind of involved in the building industry, you had a little bit more information on that. You would read that and be like 100% clear. But we're dealing with people that this isn't their waking concern every day of the year. This is a once in a lifetime thing they're doing. So it's fair enough they would get.
Also, would you agree? I think we spoke about this in our kitchen episodes, our building block episodes, in terms of renovating, building, project home, and the experience. I kind of always recommend actually not including the appliances through your project home builder, because I feel like, one, you're going to get a better deal because you're not going to pay for the markup.
Yeah, there's about a 15% like administration markup they put on
and
it.
For what? Like, I'd rather be able to go pick my appliances. And usually with project homes, correct me if I'm wrong, it's always package deals. So it's like the same cooktop, oven, micro, like it's all the same brand.
I think you talked about that in your when we did the kitchen episodes. You were like, they give you the family deal, the family pack,
and it's called like hero appliances when you're doing hero packaging. So one brand for the whole kitchen, where for me, I would rather pick and choose and go, you know what, I don't really use my microwave that much. That's not a big deal to me, but I cook a lot. So my cooktop and my oven is really, really important. But honestly, like, who cares about a dishwasher? I'm not really phased. So I'd rather put a little bit more money into my cooktop and my oven, because I'm going to get that value back, and then save on a microwave and a dishwasher, which can be in a cheaper brand, and it doesn't really faze me. So again, you can also control the aesthetic. So if you've got brush brass everywhere, for instance, a lot of appliances, I would say 95% of appliances are usually stainless steel or black.
Yes.
Or a combination of
black and
stainless. I've got a question
related to that in a little bit as well.
Oh, great. So there are obviously a lot of appliances out there that are all white. Like, you can get an all white oven, microwave.
F&P stuff in the white.
Yeah, Miele, Smeg. But again, a lot of those trim kits are all in like Smeg are white and stainless, where Miele is just all white if you want that look. So again, if you're doing like white shaker profile, white cabinetry, that's really nice to kind of do that. Crisp. Yeah. There's also like grey or Grigio gunmetal kind of appliances as well. So if that's kind of your jam, that can work with it. You just have more control. Yeah. And then you can pick and choose. You can also divvy up your budgets a little bit more as well. So, and for me, I would like to get, okay, how much does the kitchen cost with you supplying the appliances, and how much is it without? And then you go, oh, wow, okay, I've got a set budget already. Okay, I'm saving $15,000 if I do it myself. How much can I get for that $15,000? Correct. And then, yes, it's obviously a little bit more work, but in terms of kitchens, where they always say like it's the heart of the home, appliances, it's a worthy investment. Beautiful. Isn't that? Yeah. I think was a bit of a blur. But no, but it's important, and it is something, as I said, we'll touch on in a little bit. There's a question about some finishes that we'll kind of dive into. But I think, I mean, just as a check-in point for everyone at home, I'm actually quite enjoying this. Like, it's like a little bit like fast-paced, like question, answer. I know this is like totally not one of the questions, but remember when we had a conversation throughout the week about paint colours? Yes. Yeah. We can include that as well. With a little like hint and tip that you were like, I had no idea. And I was like, my goodness, really? Yeah. Well, let's save that for the end then. Let's save that for the end. All right. Next question. Okay. Question number
5, I think.
1, 2,
Hang
3,
on.
4,
1,
5?
2, 3. No, this is 4. All right,
Okay.
very good, me. All right, window treatments.
All right.
I've got a beautiful double hung sash window in the lounge and French doors in the dining room, but no idea how to furnish them.
Oh, easy.
Ideas would be so very much appreciated.
Oh, done. Come at me. So it's in the dining room. So it's not a bedroom. They don't need block out.
Mm-hmm.
Curtains all the way, love. And French doors and windows for me always go as high as possible. So I like to either do ceiling mount, so a concealed ceiling track, or if you're going to do a rail, do it as high up as possible.
Yeah.
But for me, always do it as wide as possible. So if you've got 900, 1200, however wide your window is, I always extend the curtain rail or rod a good distance past that.
Yeah.
So then when the curtains are open,
The bunching doesn't sit in front of the frame.
you want it completely separated from the window. So you can have a completely and utterly clear window, and then your window treatments are hanging kind of either side and as high as possible. So for me, if you've got I think it's quite a handy tip. If you have quite a small window on quite a large, expansive wall, you can't obviously cheaply change the window or
yes.
Oh, I just want a bigger window. You can't really do that easily. But what you can do is do window treatments. So for me, do the whole wall in beautiful sheer curtains, floor to ceiling. And honestly, it will make your space feel twice as big.
I think the key thing to touch on there, and something they noted, is the operation of a window or door actually dictates kind of how you furnish it otherwise. Because if you did plantations with a double hung window, you would probably get the shits pretty quickly. You would have to open the whole thing every time to slide it. If
Same
you've got
thing with
blinds,
doors. Doors are really tricky. French, especially hinged French doors, bifold doors. Sliding doors are obviously a little bit easier. You can kind of stack everything to the fixed panel that sliding door is kind of going into. But French doors, I think, absolutely stunning with a good sheer curtain.
It's just a bit nice, isn't it?
Yeah, even if French doors in a beautiful master suite, they always do these beautiful French doors out to a balcony. Even double track curtains, sheer and block out, absolutely stunning.
I think that's the key thing is people might think of curtains and they're like, oh, sheer, it's not really going to help me at early mornings or whatever. You just double track it.
Double track, sheer, block out, absolutely love it.
Love it. See how easy was that? That was a quick little rapid fire one. All right, so this next one might be a little bit, hang on. I've got a picture that's associated with it.
Nope, that's a question.
That's a different one. Is it included at the very top? All right, super quick question.
Okay.
Has anyone got a mirror splashback behind their sink? And do you think this is a bad idea?
Yes.
I personally don't. You personally don't have a mirror behind your splashback.
No, I would never.
It's something that...
but there's ways around it.
There's ways around it. I get it from the point of view of the optical illusion of my space feels deeper. My space, it reflects light more. It feels larger.
For me, I'm a sucker for it if you've got a view. So
that's a great point.
A lot of our clients, when we were doing Gold Coast specifically, Gold Coast, Sunny Coast, anywhere with a water view, and not to say just water view, obviously if you've got a beautiful view anywhere, but water view in particular, you're kind of the value of the property is the view.
You can double your best asset, if that makes sense.
So you're getting it twice. And especially if you have a mirrored splashback where you've got a cooktop or a sink, you're spending a lot of time there. So to be able to get that view, even a city view, absolutely stunning if you've got it. But for me, ways around it. It's the splash. I would go insane with oil splatter, water splatters every single time you and the photo that you've kind of put up is a pull-out, full commercial kind of style. Yeah. Gooseneck mixer. Oh my gosh, the spray on that, it's going to get so dirty all the time. So for me personally, I'm all for a view, but what I would do is not have overhead cupboards. I would do the mirror from
give yourself an almost a secondary splash.
Yes. So I would do, and again, I'm guilty of it in a lot of our projects. Even in my own house, I've done stone bench tops and a stone return on a nib wall. You don't even have to do the nib wall, but even just a little stone return at 250, 300 high. And then I would do mirror above that. And by removing the overheads, especially above a sink, because you don't want to feel like you're hitting your head, but especially above a sink, if you do have the sink on the rear bench top like this one, I would then remove the overhead cupboards, remove any open shelves and just do mirror from above that 300 high stone splash, mirror all the way up to the ceiling. Stunning.
Oh, I really enjoy that.
Then it's nice.
I guess the similar thought. So the reason we don't want it is it's just the maintenance.
Maintenance and cleanliness.
Can I dob myself in a little bit here? It's now been 5 years we've been in the house.
Mm-hmm.
I think a splash detail or the little shelf, small section nib.
Yep.
I think that's almost, if you're going to do a windowed splashback or whatever behind your cooktop or behind your, maybe not so much behind.
Well, the same thing goes, not just mirror, but like glass, as you're saying. Like if you've got a splashback window, a lot of people do, you know, the fixed piece of glass behind this. Same thing for a mirror.
The thing I'm finding with it is we've got that window and it's dressed with a roller blind, and the roller blind is crisp white. And we never put the roller blind down because we're too worried stuff's going to get on it. So it kind of defeats the purpose.
Yes.
So,
well, you don't want your glass getting dirty and you don't want your blind getting dirty. And for me, and again, going back, kind of merging the two questions that we had before, what are your thoughts on blinds in kitchens or any type of window treatment in kitchens?
Yeah, I'm finding it's difficult because my mum and dad have the same detail in their kitchen. I have it in mine. The main benefit I'm getting from it is it's unfortunately the only window on the northern elevation in our house in the living area. So it actually gives us a boatload of light. Mm-hmm. But then having the blind there, we're kind of not getting anything.
For what purpose would you ever put the blind down? Like what is that? Are you ready? Is it privacy? So what is it?
Privacy, but we've now been in there long enough that the landscaping we've put in is now offering that.
Okay.
So we're almost at the stage where we
can your neighbours see into
not anymore.
Okay.
They used to be able to because we've got step blocks and it was kind of the bedrooms at this back of their second level.
Okay.
Same eye line as us inside. Okay. So it's privacy.
So for me, I would look at that as like a privacy film. I'd do a frosted, like if you're not getting a view and it's all about obviously getting that natural light in, I would do a privacy film.
I might have to go and talk to Caitlin about this.
And then it's best, like, you know, if you've already got a clear glass window, you're not changing the maintenance on it. You already have the maintenance there. So, good question. Because that's heavily used a lot. I feel like a lot of project homes especially do like the fixed glass splashback.
Yeah, it's something that maybe a better spot for it is a lot of people have like a dry butler's pantry or I guess it's just a pantry then. But it's getting natural light into a room that otherwise wouldn't have any light, or it's borrowed light through like a cavity slider door or whatever. Maybe that's a better location for it.
And then I would instantly be like, if you've got a butler's pantry, like put a secondary sink in there. Even if it's just a little single bowl sink, super handy.
It's worth the investment. I think we've spoken about this. It's
same with the powder room. Like if you put a little hand basin in there,
oh my goodness. There's some things you can do that cost like maybe $1,000, but who knows, maybe to come to sell might be 5,000 or 10,000. Like it's a really good return on investment.
Yeah. Powder rooms specifically with your basins. And I know you put one in yours. So.
Yes, we did. We got it sorted.
Big winner.
Okay. Next question.
Go.
Thoughts on going with a gunmetal finish for a sink and tap when the rest of the kitchen appliances are stainless steel? So far, they've selected a Westinghouse 900ml stainless steel gas cooktop and pyrolytic oven. Good choice. I chose these over the dark stainless steel options as I didn't like the glass/ceramic dark cooktops, and I preferred the tactile dials over the touchscreen. However, now that I'm selecting the sink and tap, I prefer the gunmetal. Will it be a nice feature and a point of difference or too much contrast? I've included my stone. I can find stone and choice.
Yeah.
My stone choice for some context. Silestone Calcutta Gold. Thanks in advance. Let me bring the image up. So we've got the stone in the top right of the image. We've got the gunmetal, and then we've got kind of all the rest of it going on there. Thoughts, feelings. How do you feel about this?
Okay, I've got a few. One, the appliances personally, I prefer the Westinghouse in the gunmetal, in the dark gunmetal, and a touch screen. For me, Westinghouse traditionally is a very like family orientated brand. Like it's a very, I wouldn't say it's a mid to high. I'd say it's quite an affordable. You're
getting like the
brand.
Features of more of the higher level stuff at an earlier entry point, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely an affordable entry point. But to me, I would go the top end of Westinghouse. If I was going to go Westinghouse, I'd go the top end of that, which includes the touch screen, and you're kind of getting all the
bells and whistles.
Yeah, it just looks a bit more high end with the touch screen and everything. And personally, I really like the dark gunmetal.
Yep.
Maintenance as well. So stainless steel, it's actually really hard to keep clean over time, especially on ovens. It just gets all that, the little...
I think the other thing that you might find as well is, especially with like the handles for the ovens, is unfortunately, and it's kind of in all situations, but especially with like your really bright polished stuff or whatever, where you don't want it to be scratched up, that's ring city.
Yeah,
like you just over time, you're kind of creating this where maybe like, for example, with the gunmetal, like it's not a polished surface.
Yeah.
Like it's got a little bit of give to it on that front.
Again, the difference and quality difference in material between a PVD finish and a stainless steel.
Yeah.
So for me, stainless steel is different to brushed nickel. Even though it's the same color traditionally, there's maintenance involved with stainless steel.
Yeah.
Where I'm actually, one, huge fan of gunmetal independently because the quality, it's PVD finish, it's scratch resistant, it's not going to tarnish, it's not going to mark. And because it is that darker tone, it's going to be easier to keep clean. So personally, I would have chosen the gunmetal appliances. If obviously she's locked in, she loves the love the stainless steel appliances, I'm all for mixing stainless and gunmetal. I don't think that's it's warm and cool that I have an issue with mixing. Yep. So don't go brush brass with stainless, or don't go brush brass with gunmetal. That would look horrendous. Or like coppers, but honestly, love the difference between the gunmetal and the stainless.
The spout and mixer she's chosen, that's beautiful. Stunning.
Really
like,
nice.
That's actually beautiful. I love the knurled detail right at the end. My goodness me.
And then my third little bit weird, the Color Cutter Gold. Color Cutter Gold is traditionally, like, it's obviously gold. It's got the warm flex through it. So I would personally have chosen the Color Cutter Gold if you're doing brush brass.
Yep.
Even like brushed nickels and kept it like a bit warmer. So like gunmetals, stainless, chrome, like that's our cool tones. Black, cool.
Yep.
I would have gone like white, brush nickel, brush brass.
Yeah,
that would have been my warm tones.
Even like your bronzes and stuff, like they're still warm, but they're like a little bit warm, dark,
copper,
a bit too moody.
Yeah. So, yeah, personally, I would have chosen the gunmetal appliances. I would have chosen a different stone.
Yep.
But with the selections that she's made, 100% go the gunmetal.
Yeah.
Because I get really agitated with stainless steel sinks.
Yes.
And stainless steel mixers. It's just cold.
Got in my laundry, I've got a stainless steel sink, and that is
such a bitch
ruined.
To clean.
I'm going to have to get a new one because we're in the process of figuring out how to do the laundry thing. It might or might not happen in my week between jobs, but I'm probably going to go to a solid surface thing, like whether it's an Abbey sink or something
a white
similar.
Or a black?
Undecided yet. I think I'm undecided.
Because are you or are you not doing the kitchen eventually?
We're kind of in between. We're trying to figure out. Everybody at home, you can come in on the gossip on this one. Mikaela, I haven't told you this. We've got a real estate agent coming this week.
Oh, really?
We're getting things revalued to figure out where everything has
landed.
Finished up now that all this craziness is done.
Yeah.
We're getting our front landscaping. We pull the trigger on that. We're getting a block work, like planter box thing to like formalize the front yard a little bit more.
Oh my gosh.
And
street appeal.
We may or may not be looking for a house as well. Like,
as in
not to live in yet.
Or
not to live in yet.
Okay.
Investment first. Get all our ducks in a row.
Yeah.
And then we'll move into that.
So location
and
is
locations
key.
Where it is, but it not necessarily in the sense where this is it for the end of time.
As in, like,
this is
not to give my suburb away, but like
closer. Not in the suburb, but like, closer. Like we're looking around like Mitchelton and Ogra kind of.
Okay.
Maybe not Ashgrove. I think we've been priced out of Ashgrove, but instead of being a 25, 30 minute drive, it'll come down to like 15, 10 minutes.
Oh,
so how good. And closer to the city. Still.
Would you come my hood?
I mean, if the right house was available, I mean, we would 100%.
It's a good hood.
If everyone, I mean, you can listen. The only criteria we've got at the moment is we're probably looking more lightweight homes in terms of like something older that can be renovated.
Yep.
Something that
not a double brick set on, like that you can probably only add to instead of like raise.
Pretty much. I mean, what you've done here is almost ideal. Like in terms of what we're after, like maybe this one's a bit more complicated than with the like split level.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what we're looking at. Is we're looking at something that we can move in and just get sorted for either tenants or ourselves in the short term.
Yep.
With the grand
make it livable.
The grand goal of a Myers Elliott style.
Oh, stop.
Transformation. So nice size block.
Mm-hmm.
It's Caitlin's kind of requirement is she wants it to have some kind of significance from the street in terms of from day one. Like she wants a house. I said a building, a house that like almost has a bit of personality.
Yeah.
So that's our. I'll keep you all updated as we kind of go along with it. But that's the criteria at the moment, and it's not the end destination. Like
this isn't the. It's the wannabe final home.
We're in a bit of a fortunate position where we don't have to lock ourselves into that. Mm-hmm. Like we're with this whole process, the plan is not to sell our current house either, is to just hold that and turn that into a rental.
Yep.
But who knows what's going to happen.
It's a really nice rental.
It is. And the advantage is because all the Defence Force people are in that area at the moment, we can go through defence housing and then at the end of the 10-year lease, they repaint, recarpet, re-everything it for free.
I feel like he's looked into it, guys.
A little bit. Our next door neighbours are doing that. Like that, but they rented somewhere else and then kind of the block of land next door came available and they bought it and built their house there.
Okay.
There's a guy across the road who used to live there, did it for a year and then has now set it up as defence housing. It's just, it's a really good option. They take a bit of a cut in terms of like the management side of things, but
it is what it is.
Pretty much no effort involved. So that's where we're at the moment, I guess, in that front. It's a little bit of like behind the scenes for you guys. Next question.
All right.
This one was a little bit, we've got 3 more questions that I've prepared. So this one was like one that as I was reading it, my heart kind of broke.
Okay.
Because I feel like they want everything, but it's just
not going to happen.
Not quite there. And this is something that happens when you maybe have these grand ideas and you put them down, but you don't really understand how they kind of translate. So, mudroom question. Okay. There was a photo, but I didn't include it because it's not relevant. So, how deep do the seats have to be in a mudroom? Is 30 centimetres wide enough if I do not have drawers or cupboards beneath? So, first off,
no.
What are we talking? 45 centimetres is about
450 deep. So, yeah.
Also, if there are full-length shoe cupboards on the opposite side of the wall, so it looks like we're doing kind of a galley-style mudroom, almost imagine like bench on one side, cupboards on the other.
I feel like you got to choose already. It's one side.
What is the minimum passage space required between them? Does anyone have a narrow space of 60 to 70 centimetres and found that this is okay? I cannot afford to have 1 metre of walkway space, unfortunately.
Then you can't afford to do both sides. It's not a
galley. It sounds
galley.
like the room itself is about 1.7, 1.8 wide.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a one-sided room, sorry.
Yeah. Well, and so that's the key is I think you would be better off having a wider thoroughfare portion and a really meaningful and functional, I guess, utility side to it is maybe you split it half and half. Half is shelves, half is the seat.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Or just like, frame it. You could do like one full cupboard, seat in the middle, another full cupboard on the end and frame 100%. It all. Overhead cupboards above. Beautiful.
Yeah. I think it's a exercise where it feels like there's not enough.
Well, just think when she says, does anyone have a narrow space of 60 to 70 centimetres? So when you think 60, 70 centimetres, it's hard to kind of get context. I always do appliances. So when all appliances are done in 60 centimetre lots. So when you look at your standard microwave, your standard oven, your dishwasher, that's 60 centimetres. So could you imagine a whole room and walking in a tiny little walkway that's only the width of a dishwasher?
You have your handles for your cupboards and stuff sitting in that as well.
You wouldn't even be able to open the drawers and the cupboard doors.
What kind of a door is going in there? So
none.
I guess
you wouldn't even be able to open into the space because a standard door, the smallest standard door is like 720.
Yep.
And she's talking about a 60 centimetre walkway. So it doesn't work.
In the space that I'm envisaging, I'm almost going to treat it like our laundry. Like we want more than a metre. We don't want to just meet the bare minimum. We want 1,300.
Yeah. And that's comfortable. I would rather, instead of be jam-packed and have a seat that doesn't really work, storage that you can't really fit anything into, but you've got heaps of it.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of unusable, non-functional storage compared to a really generous walkway where you can open all the drawers, people can still walk past you and have half the storage, but at least it works.
Yeah. It feels like the width of the room that they want needs to be about 2.2, 2.3 metres wide.
If they want to do
but they've got 1.7, 1.8. Yep. And it's that 40, 50 centimetres makes all the difference.
Literally.
That's it. So
that was a good one.
Unfortunately, no. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. This next one you're probably going to cringe very hard at. So this is from site.
No.
So does anyone else think that the light switch that has been installed here horizontally should actually be up on the plastered portion of the wall?
Obviously.
This is horrible.
So one, a light switch should never, ever be horizontal.
No.
Full stop. No matter where it's installed.
I can tell, it's Clips or Iconic. So they've got the ability on the back of those switches, you can actually rotate them. You can rotate them. I don't know what just happened. You can rotate those in 90-degree increments. Yep. So they've got the ability to do it horizontally.
You should never.
But you shouldn't.
No.
The only time that the Clips or Iconic stuff should be horizontal is for data points or for like GPOs or whatever. This is not a vibe.
No, light switch, vertical. Just full stop.
I have seen someone try to provide justification for this.
None.
In the sense that, in my experience, doing a light switch or whatever on a tile is way more secure than in a wall. And that feels like someone who's done it and then has tried to lie to themselves to make it okay.
Yeah,
this is not okay.
They need
this
therapy.
Is far from okay. This is not good.
No.
This is not good.
That's a strong no.
The question that they ask, is this in the wrong spot? You were correct. This is in the wrong spot. I would be pretty upset with that.
Yep. Oh, that just wouldn't fly.
Okay. So now final question I've got, which is similar to one we touched on earlier with furnishings for windows, but they've provided like a little bit of a markup of the actual thing. So we're struggling with curtain/blind decisions in our main living space. We're thinking shears along the sliding doors, but unsure of what to do with the tall windows that will be beside our TV. The window frames are quite shallow, so it'll be tricky to install anything within the frame. What have others done with different windows in the same space?
Easy.
The key thing I think they noted there was when they're saying that the window frames are quite shallow, that'll probably be because it's a timber build. It's not a brick veneer.
Yeah.
And so you my ankle just cracked. I hope that didn't pick up on the microphone.
No.
The plantation shutters, you would have to install that so it's almost like they're bolted onto it.
Face fixed.
So what are your thoughts?
Easy. So they said that obviously TV is going to go in the middle. And I know it's hard to explain to our listeners without seeing the photo, but just think of a big corner room and we're looking at two big full height kind of windows on each edge of the corner and then in
between. Like you've got a TV unit or a buffet or whatever that's got a full height, not a full height, like it's just off the ground, which is probably making it a little bit harder for you to come to the decision.
Well, for me personally, and I don't know if you agree, please jump in if you don't. I would split it and just do 2 window treatments. So on the left-hand side, I would do sheer curtains all the way along, and then it would actually go in front of the singular window. Then I would split it, do another concealed track in the ceiling and run it from the single window around the corner and then go all the way and cover the other one.
I agree with that. I think the advantage of it is the windows that you've got there, they're not capturing views.
No.
Because the design of these windows, just regardless, it's kind of...
Well, the worst thing you want is like to treat the beautiful full height glazing with all these beautiful shears and then just have these dicky roller blinds or like one drop of a curtain in front of it and that... No.
Can I try and sell you on an idea as well? It's almost like a little bit of movie magic where you've got your curtains being able to bunch up either side of the screen like you're at the cinemas as well, where you've got the curtains pulling back at the start.
Well,
it's
again,
it makes sense for them to rest there.
Yeah, it depends on what you're doing with the TV unit. Like if you've got this like floating TV entertainment unit with like a TV that just sits on top, then I would cover the whole wall. I would just wrap those curtains the way around.
If it's a loose bit of furniture rather than something built in or affixed to the wall.
And then you've got the TV just sitting on that loose bit of furniture, like great. If it's this whole like massive wall mounted TV, you've got like an 85-inch and then you've got this like floating joinery fixed to the wall, and then I would split it like I explained. So it really does depend, but it looks like you can see they've got like TV unit plugs on the wall.
Yeah.
So
I think they're leaning towards that kind of idea. So that's it. Those are all the questions. So we did have one more that Have they
done a plinth?
Let me have a look.
It looks like a plinth underneath the... Or is that... Oh, no, it's just stacked up boxes. I think they're just...
Just stacked up boxes. So we did have a question that came through on the IG as well during the week from our friends over at Granero Build.
Oh, yes.
Who started putting down their timber flooring over... I think when this comes out, it'll be last weekend, but it happened yesterday. I was having a look. It's insane. It's beautiful black butt. Like, it looks gorgeous.
Stunning.
So they actually hit us up with a question that I don't know if we've talked about, because what they're doing in their build is they're doing square set plastered kind of cornicing, so no cornices.
Yep, really sleek.
And so for their paint colour, they want to use the same wall paint on the ceilings as well. So then they kind of pitched us the question, with all the tapware selections they've got and the kind of a few of the other things like the window frame colours and everything, what is the perfect white to use that's on the warmer side of things for a wall and ceiling paint? I think that's pretty much like
you don't want to be too dark because you're obviously putting it on the ceiling.
Yes, and without going beige as well. I think that was the other key thing. You don't want to go
cream.
Yes.
No one wants a cream house these days. We're not in 1990.
It would be pretty difficult to like look there and look out at the spectacular view they've got and be like, oh my goodness, it looks like my ceiling's butter.
We don't want butter anything. Buttercream ceilings.
Popcorn.
Ooh, popcorn. No, I think we talked about this, and was it yesterday? My days are like blurring.
It was
2 days ago.
Thursday, maybe Wednesday, Thursday. I can't remember. I called you when I was waiting to get sushi just to like confirm it, and then I pulled over.
And what did I suggest? White exchange.
White exchange half I think was it.
Good
because
colour.
we were tossing around. I think the colours we were tossing around were like Snowy Mountains, which is maybe a little more on the beige side, and then.
I didn't want to go like Lexicon Quarter Vivid White because it's just like pure white. It's a bit stark. So yeah, I liked White Exchange. It's like that perfect neutral, but it's not cool and it's not too warm. Like it's not yellow warm.
Yep.
It's just not cool, if that makes sense. So it's the perfect like accompanying white.
Yep. Now, before we get on to the knowledge bomb you dropped, that'll take us out of the episode there. I do have one final question and it's not something I think we've talked about, but so usually for your wall paint, you're going to go low sheen.
Yep.
For your ceilings, you usually go flat. Are you changing that makeup? Are you getting the two paints made separately, or are you literally grabbing the low sheen and rolling it on the ceiling?
No.
I'm so glad I asked this question because I'm now thinking about, I'm like, geez, I think I would have just got the wall paint and been like, I don't have to get another type.
And again, I think I've mentioned it a million times. My father-in-law, painter by trade for like 30 years, like absolute whiz, knows everything. I think he would actually shoot me on the spot. If I'm like, I've got the low sheen paint, here you go, I've poured it in, ready to roll. And he would be like, get out.
I did the undercoat for you.
Get out. So everyone always thinks like, oh, if I pick the one colour, it'll be so much easier. I can just spray everything and back roll it.
Yep.
Absolutely not. You still need to use the right type of paint. It's not about the colour. It's the type. Yes, it's still easy because you don't have to cut in, get the clean edge.
Yep.
It's like the same colour, so it's going to be a lot easier, but you still have to use the correct paint. Just like you wouldn't get the low sheen out and start painting your doors.
No.
Or
you
your
wouldn't
skirting.
do it in your skirts.
Yeah, you need satin on your doors and your skirtings and arcs. You need or gloss, depending on whatever.
Yep, semi-gloss, whatever you want to do.
Whatever. And then there's even like oil or water-based. Like,
do you want to use the aquenamel stuff?
I'm all for oil. It's going to give you a better finish. It's going to be more hard wearing. It's just a messier cleanup, harder to apply.
Little more maintenance on the actual like brush side of things as well. When you get to the end, you can't just like run it under a bucket of water.
No, terps only.
Terps.
So yes, but low sheen, flat, semi-gloss.
Yep. We still need to stay in the distinctions of that. Like, it is the same color, but we need the differing finishes.
But you are limiting, like, you don't have to be perfect with your cut-ins. So
yes, which is like, I think the main time saver there is it's all the same color. It's just like, are you going to look up at some bits and be like, is that a reflection on there?
Yeah.
It's a little bit sparkly.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing you did mention there was because you kind of broke it down and you started the sentence with, no one cares about this but me, but, and then you explained why certain whites are the way they are, I guess, in terms of a cool or a warm
I can't even
base.
remember how I explained this, so I'm glad you were
saying
listening.
that all whites, like in terms of how they build this, so they use, I think for paints, they use CMYK, which is like the
instead of RGBs.
Cyan, magenta, yellow, and K is black. I think that's just the black one.
I don't even know.
What they do is it's still white, but whatever the prevailing, I guess, color is, that's where it ends up being.
Primary and secondary colors.
So usually if you're looking at a white that is on the bluer side of things or the cooler side of things, compared to, or what was the one you were saying?
Warmer
if it's got a purple
cooler.
base, sorry, if it's got a purple base, and so purple is made by red and blue mixing together. If there's slightly more red than blue, it will be a warmer color. Yeah. Where if there's slightly more blue, it will be on the cooler side. Mm-hmm. And that knocked me for like 6.
It's more greens. I feel like greens are a really good one because it's obviously
yellow and blue.
That took
so long to figure out. I was like,
okay?
Oh no.
Yellow and blue, which obviously like blue is cool, yellow warm. So if it's like an olive green, if it's that more warm, obviously it has more yellow content. So it's always going to throw a more warm green. If you want a cool green, it's going to have more blue in it. So I think that's just a really easy way to differentiate between your paint colors. I feel like people get lost. Like if you look at tiles or fabrics or stones, everyone's like, oh, that's blue. Oh, that's pink. Oh, that's yellow. Like you can pick your tone within a material. Where paint, it's a lot
you go
harder.
And look at the Dulux sample wall at Bunnings or whatever.
Yeah, and you can get lost.
White.
Yeah, you can get you can get lost really, really easily when you're like, it's white. I don't know, it's just bloody white. Like, what do you mean if that's pink? I don't see any pink. Where materials, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
So for me, I always find pick your materials in your house first, and then I always start from the flooring. Because your paint, you can adapt. There's a billion colors in the world. You can always pick a paint color to suit your materials. Yep. It's harder to pick a paint first.
Materials are less flexible.
Yes. So pick your materials first, and then you can start I always go really, really strong with colors. And maybe another hint and tip, instead of when you're choosing a white, I always go a really, really warm, like, it almost looks like baby pink or yellow or green or blue. And then I can go lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. Yeah. And I know what the undertone is.
That's a good point. Like when you get your swatch cards.
Yeah,
like
I always
look at
go
the full
purple.
Strength and be like, because what were you saying? It's the steps in is it's just the half strength, half.
Yep. So when you look, and again, I know it's really hard. So at like when you go to Bunnings or a paint shop, they've got swatches. But we're
dealing with
as
the proper
professionals,
fan deck.
We have fan decks, which you can actually, a little hint tip, you can actually buy fan decks online through Dulux or Taubman's or Wattle or whoever you want to use. You can actually buy the fan decks. I highly recommend it, especially look, painting's not cheap. When you actually look at a painter coming in and quoting, you can spend 10 grand on getting your house professionally painted.
I think we got a quote to have Ipswich externally painted. It's just like 23 grand.
Yeah, external
time,
weatherboards. If you've got lead paint,
my goodness,
chamfer board. There's scraping, anything involved, but internally, like I wouldn't blink at a 10 grand painters
easily.
Easy.
And like after painting our house at the start of this year or last year, whenever that was, it's one of those things where I'm like, it ain't worth it for me to do it. I am happy to go to work and earn money and not have blisters on my hand or not accidentally, like as I'm cutting in, like bop the bloody black trim I've just painted.
Well, when you think like, okay, like 10 grand, that's actually probably really cheap to paint a whole house, but like 15, 20 grand.
Still doesn't
That's
affect
a
me.
huge investment. So if you're thinking $20,000 to get your house painted, you really want to make sure that colour's right. So if you stick to these kind of rules to abide by, I would, again, go really, really dark with your selections first so you know the undertone. You can go, that is a baby blue wall because all of my finishes are really, really cool and they've got that blue undertone everywhere. Go really blue and then cut it in half again, cut it in half, and then it's just a really cool
Get
white.
Get those test pots and paint them on the wall or do a sample or whatever. And then the only other thing I'll see or say, is when your house is like physically built and it's time for painting, get them to do the test pots in more than just one room. Get them to do it on different walls because natural light is going to shift it. Can
I also do another recommendation? Because, again...
I mean, we've got time. I mean, actually, it's coming up on an hour, so maybe this is it, and then we'll go.
I don't know how I got to paint, but we've been talking about colours and paint for so long, but my parents have actually just recently had their house painted by my father-in-law. Dealing with family members and close members on what you do for a living, it's always going to be tricky, but it was a bit of a process, let's say that, to find the right colour that my parents wanted for their whole house to get painted in. So I literally just went through this. So I know how big of a decision it is. I know how much pressure is onto it. And again, I had, I guess, the benefit of having a fan deck, having, again, a daughter that's an interior designer does help. I had the privilege of being able to order like 40, 50 paint swatches from Dulux, which are like A4 sized paint swatches with a fan deck. And I was able to give that to my parents. They could like pop it around and they narrowed it down really nicely to like 3 paint colors. And I was like, great, you've narrowed it down. This is brilliant, brilliant. Go get some paint pots. I highly recommend it. So again, what they did the right thing. They went to Bunnings. They were like, yep, Dulux in these 3 colors. Can we get that? They brought it home, painted it completely different colors to the swatches, so much darker. And they were like, we hate all of these. What the hell? Were we going to choose one of these colors that you recommended? That's nothing like the printout. And I was like, look, I don't know. That's not the color. Like go off the fan deck, go off these printouts because that's the actual color. I don't know. I can't attest to what those paint pots are. That's not the color that we chose. So I then went, stick to the colors that you liked. You like those paint swatches. I can say 100% and stand by those colors. I think they're beautiful. So instead of just going to Bunnings and going to the paint shop, what you do have to know as well that every tester paint or every brand has a different base.
Yep.
So I think these tester pots from Bunnings were actually Dulux tester pots because it was a Dulux color, so they used Dulux paint, but it was a vivid white that they used as a base. So my father-in-law doesn't use Dulux paint, and I was like, no, go to Solver. Go to Solver. He's a Solver boy. All painters have their own paint that they use and they don't like to change. But he's a Solver boy. So they went to Solver, got the Dulux color on Solver base pots, which again were double the size of Dulux and half the price, I'd just like to say.
Yeah.
They got those back. Loved it. Exactly the same as the swatches. So I've never run into that because I'm always like, just go like get tester paint pots. I didn't realize that the base of the tester pots vary.
Vivid white, neutral. There's like a whole bunch. And if I
thought it was just like white. Like all tester paint pots should just use an untinted white, but they don't.
Yeah, it's
which is wild.
Really strange, but it can make a difference. Like if you don't use, say you're doing vivid white for your trims and you don't use vivid white as the base and you get it and then you get someone to go and get another one and they get vivid white, but it's the neutral base. You can have 2 skirtings that are in the same finish, but it's like one is just that much crisper, that much more high definition.
Yeah.
It
was bizarre nuts, and how much that changed the overall, like it was so much, like 2 shades darker. And I'm like, and they were like, do we go quarter strength? I'm like, no, it's like white. You're not going to see any color. Like,
it's just going to be a sheet of paper.
Literally. So
That's a huge tip.
Yeah.
Huge tip.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Listen,
so
now
there
we
you
do.
go. Now
and
we
now
do.
all of you
we can
know.
all learn.
Now all of you know. So, Mikaela, we're coming up on pretty much 1 hour, like bang on.
So sorry.
So thank you everybody for listening.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm going to keep collating more questions.
Yeah,
I think we'll try and get
good.
like some kind of rotation where it's like a little bit designery, inspiration,
I feel like we should,
bit of questions.
I feel like we should put a question bar up on the
Insta.
IG.
Yeah. If we want to keep soliciting questions, like you saw how easy that was, and like we'll try not to be horrendous in terms of the way we answer it. I mean, that poor lady with the mudroom probably that was maybe a little bit upsetting.
No, that's a perfect example of when you know what you want, and even if she was probably even walking through the space and being like, but it's so hard to get an idea of scale when every single day we're looking at floor plans, we're drafting, we know off the top of our head exactly how wide basic items are, where the average person doesn't. This isn't what they do every day. So that's a perfect question, because that is 90% of people. When it's not your job, you're not staring at it.
When you get in, you're like, this feels smaller than it did on the floor plan.
Or so many times, and even I'm so guilty of it when designing things on paper and seeing things drafted on a computer screen, and then I get to site and I see a slab poured and I'm like, oh my God, this is tiny.
Oh no.
It's so small. Like, don't you see a slab and you go, oh my God, this house is tiny.
Yeah, sometimes. And usually it's when the plasterboard goes up, you're like, okay, we're back. It feels big again.
Or even then when even just like the framework goes up and I'm like, oh, okay, this feels so much better. Okay.
I think there's companies in, I don't know if there's one in Brisbane, but they have these like big warehouses with these projectors where they can project your floor plan. And you can walk
through like
I think
a warehouse.
Three Birds girls did it.
Yeah.
I think that's key. And like however much that costs, I don't know, like $500 or whatever, I think you'll be able to convince yourself, and not like you don't have to get to the point where you're like lying to yourself being like, I can get through a 70 centimeter thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, but can you get through a 70 centimeter thing if you're carrying something, or like say if it's a laundry or a thoroughfare space, as soon as you've got the hip hugger basket on there, game over.
Yeah.
Game over.
100%.
I think that's pretty much it. The only other thing is maybe you might see on the Instagram is I'm going to try and build myself a desk for my office at home over the next week. The Crafty Boy's out. Thank you very much.
DIY.
Yeah, I think I saw a reel by Genevieve, who's the DIY queen on Instagram in terms of like repurposing. You know how all the people started having travertine side tables where they go buy the thing from Bunnings? That's her.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give that a whirl. Mikaela, thank you very much for your time this week. We're going to get more questions. We'll put it up on IG when this comes out. Feel free to send stuff in, and then we'll just keep going.
Keep it on. Awesome.
All right, beautiful. Yeah. Do you want to count down from 3 and we'll do the same old?
Up from 1.
No? Oh, you want to go up this week?
I like to go up.
You went down last time.
Did I?
Yeah, because I went up and you went down, and then you were like, oh. Okay.
3.
See, that's going down. All right. 3, 2, 1. Toodaloo. We've come to the end of another episode. If you have any questions, reach out to us on our Instagram @GrabTheTrace. Following, sharing, leaving a review or a rating is the best way to help the show. Our opening and closing music was created by Robert Hellberg. And whilst we try to help as much as possible, this podcast is of a general nature and won't be able to take into account your individual circumstance. If you need personalised advice, you should engage a relevant professional consultant to help make the best decisions for your situation. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.